Alrighty, are folks still able to see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's non-mandatory pre-bid workshop for the Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program Supportive Services Only project. Please note that the following presentation will be recorded for reference and uploaded to our COC website. For folks just joining us, please type your name and agency in the chat. And unless you are speaking, it's requested that all attendees please mute your mics during the meeting so that everyone can hear everyone effectively. If any questions do pop up during the presentation, please type them in the chat and we will answer as many as possible towards the end of the meeting. And all answers or all questions will be answered and those will be posted to our website under open bids and programs. We're going to go ahead and get started with introductions. This is everyone from our Office of Homeless Services. I'll go ahead and get started. My name is Marielle Sarmiento. Many of you may know me as Mar, and I am the program specialist managing the Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program. And I will pass it off to Amy.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Amy Primrose Puente. I'm a senior program specialist here at Housing and Workforce Solutions Office of Homeless Services, and I'm happy to see everyone, and I will pass it over to Ms. Tanya.
Hi, everyone. Tanya Torno. I'm the Deputy Director over our Office of Homeless Services, and of course, I support the Homeless Continuum of Care. I just wanted to say we're excited that you were able to join us today and that we have so many people that are interested in partnering with us to help address youth homelessness. I will pass it on to Catalina.
Hello, I'm Catalina Gutron, and I am a contracts and grants analyst with HWS. And I will pass it on over to, is there anybody else from HWS?
I think that's everyone from OHS. Thank you, Catalina and Tanya. Other folks who aren't able to join us right now are Rashana Walker, our Supervising Development Specialist, and Emma Perez Singh, our Development Manager. All right, we'll go ahead and get into the agenda for today. We'll be reviewing the purpose and overview, funding available for services, eligibility requirements, target population, HUD's homeless policy priorities, general application requirements, and then we'll do a breakdown of the HUD YHDP RFP process, which includes the timeline and schedule of events, the YHDP supportive service only project expectations, the RFP scoring criteria, evaluation process, bidder's proposal response information, and then we'll have space for question and answers, and then we'll share the team contact information as well. So starting off with the purpose and overview, the Housing and Workforce Solutions Department, on behalf of the Riverside County Office of Homeless Services, or OHS for short, is seeking proposals from qualified applicants for the Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program Supportive Services Only project. Riverside County HWS OHS is the COC administrative entity and managing effort. The goal is to work towards preventing and ending youth homelessness through youth-centered drop-in centers, which serve as access points to housing services facilitated by dedicated youth housing navigators. So funding available for services, the maximum funding amount for this RFP is $433,453, and the awardee will have until March 31st of 2027 to expend this funding. The project selected through this RFP will be evaluated, ranked, and presented to the COC Board of Governance for inclusion in the county's Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program. For this RFP, only supportive service projects will be considered for funding, and the projects must propose a drop-in center based in the desert region. Ineligible or late project applications will not be reviewed. As for the eligibility requirements, bidders who fail to meet any of the following threshold eligibility requirements are deemed ineligible. Proposals from ineligible applicants are not rated or ranked and will not receive HUD funding. So the bidder can be, shall be a nonprofit, private or not-for-profit, or government agency. They shall propose new programs only. The bidder, its officers, and employees are not currently debarred or suspended from doing business with federal government, state of California, or a local government. And the bidder must demonstrate project readiness and clearly show ability to provide this project by March 31st, 2027. So target population. All youth within Riverside County ages 24 and under that meet categories 1, 2, and 4 of HUD's homeless definition are eligible to receive services under YHDP. So HUD has a total of 4 categories for how they define homelessness, but for YHDP, we only consider those under categories 1, 2, and 4, and that is for those who are literally homeless, meaning an individual or family who lacks a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence. And then for category 2 are those who are at imminent risk of homelessness, and this will be an individual or family who will imminently lose their primary nighttime residence. It's important to note that it's provided that the residence will be lost within 14 days of the date of application for homeless assistance. And then finally, we have category 4, and those are individuals who are fleeing or attempting to flee domestic violence or any unsafe situation. Moving on, we have HUD's homeless priorities. Prospective bidders are encouraged to consider incorporating these policy priorities into their proposals to strengthen the competitiveness of their application. And this is because these policies that HUD prioritized when making YHDP funds available are these 7. So the first one is preventing and ending youth homelessness, building national momentum, highlighting the importance of youth leadership, evaluating the coordinated community approach, expanding capacity, evaluating performance measures, and then finally establishing a framework for federal program and technical assistance provider collaboration. Here we have the general application requirements. The awardee under this RFP will have until March 31st, 2027 to administer this project in full. All project applicants seeking funding under the YHDP grant must have SAM registration, a valid unique entity identifier or UEI must be provided by the applicant. All project applicants must be within the County of Riverside COC service area, which includes cities and unincorporated areas of Riverside County. All project proposals must utilize the Housing First approach and participate in coordinated entry. And the selection of program participants must be consistent with the Riverside COC's coordinated entry system process. And we have this process posted online at our website under CES policies and procedures. YHDP does require a match. So under the Code of Federal Regulations, it requires recipients must match all grant funds. This does not include leasing funds, but under this RFP, there will be no leasing funds. It'll only be supportive services only and admin dollars. Finally, projects shall, as applicable, participate and provide data through the county's Homeless Management Information System, or HMIS, and awardees shall collect the applicable data set required for reporting purposes. All right. Now we'll be going into the RFP process breakdown, starting off with the timeline and schedule events. So the RFP was released last Thursday on May 1st. And your primary contact for YHDP will be myself, and my email is msarmiento@rivco.org. Today is May 7th, and this is the non-mandatory pre-bid workshop. The recording for this meeting will be posted to our website and sent out to folks as well. And then that'll include the slides as well. And then the last day to submit written questions related to this RFP will be this Friday, by this Friday, May 9th. And then all questions will be responded to and posted on the website by next Tuesday, May 13th. Then finally, on May 27th, that is when all project proposals are due and need to be submitted to coc@rivco.org by 3:30 p.m. And then within 15 to 60 days after the RFP closes is when the awardees will be announced. Now moving on, we have the SSO project expectations. So under Riverside County's Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program, the SSO project must be designed to provide a drop-in center, which will serve as central access points to CES, or the Coordinated Entry System, and will have supportive services available to youth in addition to youth housing navigators. The drop-in center must be based in District 4. And then the youth housing navigators will identify youth and young adults experiencing homelessness and navigate them through the system of care. Navigators will provide direct support to youth in crisis with an expectation that they will be mobile as they navigate and engage with different programs and services. So this is at minimum what we'll be looking for when reviewing these proposals. Next is the RFP scoring criteria. The application is based on 120 points with no bonus points available. Project applicants are strongly encouraged to review Exhibits A and B of this RFP to ensure their project application aligns with and addresses each of the respective components. So we have the program design and description. This component has 5 questions, each worth 10 points. And then the experience and capacity portion also has 5 questions, each worth 10 points. And then for impact and effectiveness, this section has 2 questions, one worth 5 points and one worth 10 points. The question worth 10 points is in regard to value asset added and is different from previous RFPs for YHDP. And this is because we really are looking for partners that have the ability to leverage assets or services that will increase the effectiveness of the youth system overall. And then finally, we have our implementation timeline, and this will be 1 question worth 5 points. Next, we're jumping into the evaluation process. So applications will be evaluated based on the criteria to be appropriate by the county, which may include but not necessarily limited to the following. The applicant's ability to meet qualification requirements for this funding as noted in Section 3 and Section 8. And then the 4 components that we just reviewed: program design and description, experience and capacity, impact and effectiveness, and then implementation ability. And then finally, it's the financials, overall best value to the county, and then any other factors the county determines to be appropriate. Applications will be given thorough review, and all communication during this application process and review selection phase may be directed to the primary HWS contact. That'll be myself. And then attempts by the applicant to contact any other county representative may result in disqualification of the applicant's application to this or any other solicitation. All evaluation material will be considered confidential and not released by the county. And the county reserves the right to split or make the award that is most advantageous to the county and the youth system of care created through YHDP funding. And this slide just goes over the bidder's proposal response information. So the RFP is all one document, and the bidder's proposal response is under attachment B, pages 16 through 35. And you can receive a copy of this RFP on our OHS website, and I'll drop the link in the chat for folks, but it's also attached to this meeting invite as well. And of course, as mentioned, all responses will be due by Tuesday, May 27th by 3:30 p.m. And with that, we did breeze through all that information. If there are any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat and we can address them with the remaining time that we have.
Mario, we don't have any questions in the chat at this time, so if anybody has, or here's one. The question is from Miss Susanna Juarez Williamson, and she's asking, is the match 433,453? This section, page 4, is not clear. Only 25% of funds are in kind from other sources as referenced, except as otherwise provided in YHDP. So after looking at Appendix A through links provided, there's no 1C1B3 and 1C1B4. Can more information be provided on the 25% match requirements or other sources?
Absolutely. We can definitely share that information, but I believe if I'm understanding correctly, 25% of the total 433,453 is the match requirement. And I think it comes out to around 108,000 and some. Can you clarify if the match is 100 or 20? It'll be 25% of the total award. And I'll give some time in case any folks are typing other questions. Oh, perfect. For your outcome measures, is all that data collected in HMIS, or will there be an exception to data shared between EHRs? Could you clarify what EHRs are? Electronic health records. So all, and correct me if I'm wrong, Amy, all data that agencies collect, if you're an agency receiving funding administered through COC, does need to be gathered through HMIS.
Yes.
Is the eligible population 18 to 24 standard terms? Page 63 has 18 to 24, but RFP has 24 and under. What are the, right? So when we're talking about 18 to 24, the TAE population, that's more geared towards our housing projects. But as a whole, YHDP funds can be used for any youth ages 24 and under, as long as they meet those the homeless definition as defined by HUD. And then because this is a drop-in center, if if a youth who is parenting, let's say they have a child, needs access to food and the center can provide that, then they can use YHDP funds to cover that cost. And that goes the same with all other services that they provide through YHDP.
And Mark, can I jump in real quick? So the drop-in center, the reason why there's the two ages is because the drop-in centers can serve youth under 18. However, they cannot access YHDP housing if they're under 18. So specifically for our drop-in centers, 24 and under is a true state.
Thank you. Susanna, let us know if you have any follow-up to that. And then I see another question. If a youth is living in a car, do they qualify? Yes, that qualifies because it'll be under, I believe, 1 is that direct one.
Yes, they're literally homeless.
Right. And it'll be that first bullet. So primary nighttime residence, that is a public or private place not meant for human habitation. So because in their car they don't have access to running water and other basic necessities, they'd qualify. Will all youth served by housing navigators be entered into HMIS? If they're going to be receiving YHDP services, yes, but also they could be entered into HMIS to be referred to another housing project outside of YHDP. Amy, let me know if there's anything to add to that.
Yes, that was perfect. All clients served will be entered into HMIS, yes. And also I wanted to circle back to Susanna and Kelly's questions about the match and just inform you that when we post the questions from today's pre-bidders conference on our COC NOFO section of our website, we'll put the exact match amount for this award so you know what the match will be.
Are there any other questions? In the meantime, I'll share the last slide, and it just has Amy and my contact information, as well as the link to where you could access the RFP.
One more question, Mar. Well, Susanna is asking, do all of the required outcomes report out of HMIS? And the answer is yes.
And then also to add, there are, under this program, there are quarterly and annual reports done through Sage, and that's the reporting site that HUD uses, but that pulls directly from HMIS.
Kelly's asking, can you speak a little more about the time study and monthly deliverables?
I'm not sure exactly what you mean by time study, but monthly deliverables, I'm thinking back to, so there are, we do have monthly check-in meetings where we'll have the monthly performance reports due, and that'll be for internal use within, like on a county level, but in terms of what HUD requires, it's just those quarterly and annual reports. Oh, the YHDP time and activity report. Right. So this is in terms of billing. There is a template that our fiscal team provides, and you'll be submitting these with each claim that you submit at the end of the month. But of course, it is just a template. If your agency has their own form of a time and activity report, then you're free to use that as long as it has all the information needed. And whoever is awarded, once they're fully set up, they'll be connected to a fiscal analyst that can guide them through that claims process. And then I see Suzanne dropped another question. What can be included in the service activities on YHDP time and activity report? So that'll be any of the approved supportive services that HUD has. And we can definitely share that CFR. It has a list of all the eligible activities, but from the top of my head, it includes education, support, employment assistance, life skills training. So if a staff member supports with any of those supportive services, then that could be billed under that section. But in terms of admin, it's just any coordination activities, project evaluation, and then HUD compliance activities. Those are the ones that I can think of. But we'll, in the formal written response, I'll make sure to include everything.
I'm including the HUD link as well in the chat.
Perfect, thank you. Admin includes, yes, admin does include entering data in HMIS. And that could also qualify or be eligible under the supportive services line item under case management or intake as well. This is on, I'm sorry, this is calculated in HMIS, mainstream benefit attainment. Yes, so one of the, I believe it's part of their intake. No worries, Susanna. Part of the intake is, and case management is checking in on income, and then if that changes over time throughout however long the client is with the agency. And so that'll be calculated, or not necessarily calculated, but reported into HMIS. Are there any other questions? Income like a job, or does this include other kinds of income? Yes, there's different types of income. So if they receive CalWorks or any other benefits, that would be counted as well. I think it's under HMIS will be categorized differently though. Would if they're under 18. And actually, Susanna, if you'd like, you can unmute and we can type these on our end since there's
Thank you.
not
It's
a
really
bunch
hard
of
to type.
questions
I can't type that
coming in.
fast.
You're good, no worries.
I was just concerned when I saw the outcome goal of a minimum of 80% will have mainstream benefit attainment, and they're young, and that may not improve, and certainly not at 80%.
Yeah,
And if they're,
Susanna, if awarded, we can adjust the monthly performance report to reflect your specific project. The template that you're looking at is a generic form that's
Okay.
used for all programs.
okay, I was curious about that. It's like that, oh, that's kind of high. What if they're in school, they're under 18? How's that measured? Okay,
And then to clarify, the 80% is 80% of your total clients served. So as long as
yeah,
80%, right?
that's a lot.
Perfect.
That would be high
It
if
is,
they,
it is.
for kids that age, to now have a job and getting income and that
Right.
income to increase. And
Right. Thank you for uplifting that. We can definitely make
thank you.
adjustments where needed. Give it one more minute for anyone who's typing in the chat.
And all of the data, the performance outcomes that were specified in both the RFP and in the template contract, all of that is entered into HMIS and comes out of HMIS.
Yes and no. So yes, everything is entered into HMIS, but you can pull reports from HMIS directly. And then on Sage as well, using the reports from HMIS, you'll need to fill those out on a quarterly and annual basis.
About what, Sage?
Sage, yes, it's the reporting system. It's just a website HUD uses.
And I guess it was just the standard template because it was asking about number of beds. And I thought, well, are we really doing beds? I don't think we're doing beds because it's
Yeah, it's
supportive
just
Right,
services only.
it'll be different
Okay.
for the drop-in
Okay,
center.
thank you. I was like, huh?
No worries. Amy or Tanya, was there any last comments that y'all wanted to add?
No, I don't think so. We will ensure to get all we've noted all the questions, and we will get all of the answers posted to the NOFO section of our COC website, and also the exact match amount. Marielle, when is the last day for the community to submit questions to you?
That'll be this Friday, May 9th, I believe. Yes, May 9th by 3:30 p.m.
Okay, so this Friday by 3:30 p.m. if you have, if you're like me and you're a processor and you think of your questions after the meeting, feel free to email coc@rivco.org your questions, and they'll be submitted. When are you going to have them submitted, Marielle?
The
On our
answers
website?
by the 13th, next Tuesday.
Okay, so they'll be answered by next Tuesday. So after this meeting, we will not be able to answer questions directly All questions it'll be a very formal process on our Office of Homeless Services website under the NOFO section. So we'll give it just another minute or two and let our processors process. And if you have any last minute questions, we'll get them answered. And if after the meeting, feel free to email coc@rivco.org with any last minute questions, and we'll get them answered by next Tuesday. And with that said, I'll pass it to Tanya.
All right, I think the only thing I have to add is just a reminder that by applying for or submitting a proposal for this program, that you are going to be a participant in our youth homeless delivery system. So essentially the continuum of services that Mariel and Amy and others across our continuum of care have worked so hard to build, to make sure that we have specialized projects that serve youth. And so we're really excited about this opportunity and look forward to onboarding an agency, a program that is really the best fit and is eager to become a part of this system and work collaboratively with the so many different nonprofits and county departments we already partner with to do this work. So again, we're excited to fund a project, but for us, this is so much more. We're working on building a system that can really help move youth who are identified across our entire county, across our entire region into housing, and of course with the goal of helping them become self-sufficient. And for us, that really, pushes the envelope to help them get a job, help them go to college, help them lead a life of purpose. So thank you all for participating with us, and we can't wait to see all the different proposals that come in.
Perfectly said. Thank you, Amy and Tanya. I didn't see any other questions come up, so I think we'll go ahead and
One
wrap
really
it up.
fast one, if I could ask
yeah,
you.
of course.
When it's saying exited back to homelessness, do they mean exited out of the youth program, like we exited them out of our program services, or do they mean exited out of HMIS, or are those two things one and the same?
Yes. And I
Okay.
see Amy confirming.
Okay. I just
Yes,
wanted to
they're
see
one and
like
it
is
means,
if those are two different things, I need to know which one exited from which.
yeah, it
Right.
means that they're exiting your program, which would also mean HMIS, and
Okay.
they're going back to the street. So that's they're exiting the program and HMIS and returning back to the street.
And those exits are always the same. Like they wouldn't leave us, but they stay in HMIS for whatever reason.
Correct.
They could.
Well,
Oh.
if it's a housing, if it's a supportive services only project, then yes. And
Okay.
so for this project, they could be enrolled in multiple projects. Yes.
Okay. But I mean, for our own, those will always be one and the same, really.
Unless
Like
you have unless you have a housing project. So let's.
No, we don't. I mean, if we
Okay.
had just this and we're trying to figure out this exiting and we entered them as enrolled in our youth navigator thing, then when they leave that, we should exit them out of that within HMIS, and it would be exiting from us. And that's when you determine, well, are you homeless or do you get them stable or whatever?
Yes, and hopefully
Okay.
you'll never be checking that box, exiting.
No,
back.
yeah, we don't want to check that box because then they shouldn't be leaving the program. They need more navigation still. Okay.
And Salam, our HMIS expert, had her hand up. Salam, is there something that you wanted to share?
No, I think I'm good. I was gonna say, if Suzanne, your program is in HMIS, I wasn't sure, that's why I put my hand down. We could provide a training, like if you need any support on like how to
Okay.
utilize the HMIS, we can provide a step-by-step process on how to do that and just provide like the best practices and so on. So I was going to say that, but I wasn't sure if
Yeah, I
the
just wanted
program
to,
is
I was
already in
curious,
HMIS.
like a
So
youth
yeah.
could drop out of Youth Navigator and be homeless. I just didn't know if they kind of stayed in the HMIS, but I guess not, because we put them in there under our program.
Yeah. If they're no longer in the program yet,
Okay.
they need to be exited. It's a
Okay.
proper exit destination, yes.
I just wanted to understand
Thank you.
how hard that would be to collect or not collect.
And I will also say to everyone on this call that if you submit a proposal that is awarded, we will provide in-depth training for HMIS and all of the other components that go into contracting with the Office of Homeless Services. So I assure you, but if you're awarded, then we'll provide everything that's needed for your project to be successful.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
All right, I didn't see any more questions come in. Thank you to everyone who did send in questions. We'll make sure that all of that gets posted on our website by next Tuesday. But with that, I think we can wrap it up here and y'all could have the rest of the hour.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks again.
you.